Known what?
Everything they say is true about Jamie and me.
No,
Your legacy is a lie.
no, I don't believe you.
Yes, you do.
There's a specific moment in Game of Thrones where Tywin Lannister dies. It doesn't happen on the privy with a crossbow bolt in his gut. It happens moments earlier, in his solar, while he is still standing at the height of his political power. It happens the moment his daughter, Cersei, looks him in the eye and revokes her consent to his reality. To understand the desperate violence of this conversation, we must look at the sequence of events that has backed Cersei into this corner. With Joffrey gone, the crown has passed to the gentle, malleable Tommen. Tywin, obsessed with cementing the alliance with House Tyrell, plans to marry Tommen to Margaery Tyrell, and, crucially, to ship Cersei off to Highgarden to marry Loras Tyrell. This is the catalyst. Cersei is facing the total loss of her agency. Her brother Jaime is maimed and useless to the dynasty. Her brother Tyrion is about to die, and she is being forcibly separated from her last surviving son. She realizes that Tywin's victory means her erasure. She enters this room not to negotiate, but to detonate the foundation of her father's power to save her own identity.
We've been over this, the matter's closed.
I'm opening it again.
Tywin begins with the language of the absolute. His phrase, "the matter's closed," is not a suggestion. It is a declaration of reality, the kind of God voice that has governed House Lannister for decades. However, Cersei's response, "I'm opening it again," is the first structural crack in the relationship. Authority relies on the godlike ability to control outcomes. By simply refusing to accept his closure, Cersei revokes the consent that sustains his power.
You were betrothed to Loras Tyrell. Still betrothed to Loras Tyrell, and you will marry Loras Tyrell as soon as Tommen marries Marjorie.
I will not.
Tywin attempts to reinforce his reality through repetition. Loras Tyrell, said 3 times, acting as if speaking the words makes them fact. He views Cersei through her virtual social identity, a political asset and a broodmare to be deployed for stability. Cersei's flat, "I will not," is a rejection of this virtual identity. She is asserting her actual social identity as the Queen Regent, refusing to cover or downplay her power to fit into the subservient female role he demands.
You have on several occasions made great claims about your commitment to this family's future. Your role in that future is more vital now than it ever was.
Tywin appeals to the family as an abstract, monolithic institution that requires sacrifice. He tries to shame her by citing her previous claims of commitment, attempting to leverage her own words against her. He is positioning her marriage not as a punishment, but as a vital role in the dynasty's survival.
I don't care. I will stay in King's Landing where I belong with my son, the king.
Cersei's response, "I don't care," signifies the collapse of Tywin's ideology. She rejects the abstract future for the biological present, my son. She identifies that Tywin is so consumed by the idea of the family that he is willing to destroy the actual family members to save the name.
When you were 9 years old, I was called to the capital. I decided to take your brother with me and not you. You insisted that you would not be left at Casterly Rock under any circumstances.
Tywin attempts to use a narrative control tactic, retelling a story from her childhood to re-infantilize her. He wants to frame her current defiance as just another childhood tantrum he will eventually manage, re-establishing the parent-child hierarchy.
And if you
I'm not
recall,
interested in hearing another one of your smug stories about the time you won. This isn't going to be one of those times.
Cersei interrupts him, shattering the frame. By calling it a smug story about the time you won, she deconstructs his mythos in real time. She refuses to let him use the past to dictate the present, signaling that the old stories no longer hold power over her.
do you think you'll be the first person dragged into a sept to be married against her will?
Tywin escalates to physical coercion, dragged into a sept, proving he has lost the intellectual argument and must resort to brute force. This is a sign of weakness. True authority does not need to threaten violence to be obeyed.
When you marched into the throne room to tell me we'd won the Battle of Blackwater, do you remember? I was sitting on the Iron Throne with Tommen. I was about to give him essence of nightshade. That's how far I was willing to go when I thought someone awful had come to take my son away.
Cersei counters by engaging in the strategy of desperate ground. She recounts the Blackwater moment to prove her capacity for dynastic suicide. She is signaling that her maternal instinct overrides her survival instinct.
Someone awful is coming to take him away.
Oh,
By labeling Tywin as someone awful, she categorizes her own father as the existential threat she was prepared to kill her son to escape. Tywin's single word, no, is a weak, reflexive denial of the reality she is painting.
Joffrey is dead. Marcella's been sold like livestock, and now you want to ship me off to Highgarden and steal my boy. My last boy. You will dig your claws in and you'll fight over him like beasts until you rip him apart.
Cersei lays out the effective reality. Her children are dead or sold, and Tommen is next. She rejects the political marriage frame and sees it for what it is, the theft of her child. Steal my boy. She sees Tywin not as a grandfather, but as a beast fighting for control.
I will burn our house to the ground before I let that happen.
and how will you do that?
Her threat, I will burn our house to the ground, is not a metaphor. It is the core of her strategy. She values her agency and her children over the survival of the Lannister legacy. Tywin, still skeptical, asks for the mechanism. How will you do that? Believing he has blocked all her political moves.
I'll tell everyone the truth.
What truth would that be?
Cersei employs the nuclear option of mutually assured destruction. By threatening to speak the truth, she kicks away the ladder. She removes the escape route of political denial. Tywin still feigns ignorance. What truth? Attempting to maintain the tactful consensus that protects the family secret.
You don't know, do you? You never believed it. How is that possible? What am I saying? Of course it's possible.
Cersei realizes in real time that Tywin isn't pretending. He genuinely doesn't know. This exposes his willful blindness. She sees the law of grandiosity at work. He believes he can command reality to such an extent that he has blinded himself to the truth.
How can someone so consumed by the idea of his family have any conception what his actual family was doing? We were right there in front of you and you didn't see us. One look in the past 20 years. One real look at your own children and you would have known.
She explicitly calls out his confirmation bias. Tywin has spent decades filtering out the evidence of incest because it contradicted his self-image. Cersei reveals that his godlike reputation is a fraud. He didn't see what was right in front of him.
Known what?
Everything they say is true about Jamie and me.
This is a radical act of, quote, voluntary disclosure. Prior to this, Cersei was discreditable, hiding a secret stigma. By confessing, she becomes discredited. She moves from hiding the stigma to owning it. This instantly disarms Tywin, because blackmail and control only work if the victim feels shame or fear of exposure.
No,
Your legacy is a lie.
no, I don't believe you.
Tywin's reaction is a textbook example of law of irrationality. Despite his cold intellect, he retreats into the pleasure principle, recoiling from the painful truth. Admitting the incest means acknowledging his heirs are abominations, and his life's work is a lie. Therefore, he chooses the pleasurable delusion, I don't believe you, over the painful reality.
Yes, you do.
Cersei delivers the coup de grace. Her final yes you do is a command that overrides his denial. Crucially, the scene ends with her turning her back on him and leaving without dismissal. She violates courtly protocol and asserts dominance. Tywin is left standing alone, staring at the door. He has been stripped of his authority, he is blind, and his legacy. It is a fraud. The scene ends with Tywin Lannister standing alone in his solar, staring at the door. This is the psychological death of Tywin Lannister. He has been stripped of his two pillars, authority and legacy. His authority is gone because he has been exposed as blind to the rot within his own house. His legacy is gone because it has been revealed as a fraud built on incest.